Hey guys, so welcome to my first YouTube video. I thought I'd come on here and do a medication review. So I'm going to review the medication Quetiapine. Have it right here. So this medication is an antipsychotic. It's not always used for psychosis, but that's what it's mainly used for. I was prescribed this medication for agoraphobia, anxiety, kind of unstable mood, and OCD. So I'm going to talk about my experience with this medication, all the side effects I experienced, what to expect, and how well it worked. So let's get into it. So I was first prescribed quetiapine shortly after my 18th birthday in April of 2023. I had been suffering with my mental health for many years, and I had tried pretty much every SSRI medication, but none of them were working. I was just very resistant to them, and this was kind of my last chance. So they put me on quetiapine, and I was very nervous at first to take them because I have very severe health anxiety. So one of my biggest issues with medication is the possibility of there being side effects. So they started me off on the lowest dose, which was 25 milligrams. So those are the tablets I've got right here. So they started me off on the lowest dose and they told me to take 2 tablets a day, one in the morning and one at night. That still felt a little bit too much for me. I was still too anxious to do that, even though it was the lowest dose. I was just stressed in case I had an allergic reaction or I experienced any really bad side effects. So what I did, and I would recommend this. The doctors would always tell you not to do this, but I've done it many times before and I've never had an issue. So what I did was I actually would cut the pills in half, and I started off with taking half of a 25 milligram pill once a day, and then after a week I took the full pill once a day for a week, and then I gradually increased it until I was on the dose that they had prescribed me. So that way it kept side effects at bay because I wasn't actually on like the full dose, and it also really eased my anxiety. So I think because I did that, I didn't actually end up having any side effects. I think the only two things I noticed were that I was a lot more hungry and that I was a lot more tired, which are both kind of things that didn't particularly bother me. It was manageable basically, and it wasn't like super noticeable. So I was very fortunate when it comes to the side effects, and I do think that's because I started off with half of a pill rather than taking the full one. I don't actually know why they don't recommend you to do that, because yeah, I really don't know, because it's always worked for me. So okay, so next I want to discuss how well the medication actually worked for me and if it had any effect on me and improved my mental health. So the short answer is yes, it did. Like I said earlier, I am agoraphobic, I have severe OCD, and I've dealt with panic attacks for most of my life. At the time they prescribed me the quetiapine, I hadn't left the house in 4 years. I was having panic attacks every single day. I had a self-harm addiction, I was really depressed and just isolated from the world, and I was having mood swings, like it was not fun. And they prescribed me the pill, and I didn't notice any immediate changes in my mental health. I mean, for the next few months I still struggled. So they prescribed it to me in April, and I didn't start to see changes until August. And it was very slow, but I did kind of like one day wake up and realise like I haven't really felt anxious in a while, like, oh, this is like weird, like I'm not used to this, I'm so used to being in fight or flight constantly, and it was nice, but yeah, it was so weird. And I kind of noticed small things like my eating habits changed. I mean, I'd been suffering with an eating disorder for a while, not like anorexia or anything like that. It was kind of an anxiety around eating food. I was scared that I was going to have an allergic reaction or just just like anxiety in general around eating. It wasn't anything to do with my body image. And when they put me on the Quetiapine, obviously it increases your appetite, or it can do. It did for me. So I was a lot more hungry, and when I was eating, I wasn't feeling as anxious to eat, which was really good. And I started being able to slowly do more things. At the time they prescribed it to me, I couldn't even leave my room. I was pretty much like bedbound. That's how bad my anxiety was. In August time, I was able to start going downstairs a lot more, and I kind of took up baking as a hobby. So that really helped me and motivated me, because I really fell in love with baking, and every single day I would go downstairs and bake, and I no longer felt anxiety when going downstairs. I didn't feel dizzy. I felt like I could breathe, like I was okay, which was a big change from what I was when they first prescribed them to me. My OCD didn't really change at all. It kind of stayed the same, but I'll get a bit more into that later. In terms of panic attacks, I was still having some panic attacks, but not the kind where you feel like you're gonna die. You know, there's kind of different levels of panic attacks. So I would say, like, usually my panic attacks were up here, but on the Quetiapine, they were like here, like just below the middle. So I felt like, I don't know what I felt like. I felt like something in me was like preventing me from being all the way up here when I was having a panic attack. And you know, it was the Quetiapine. So that was good. That really was amazing. In terms of my agoraphobia, it did not cure my agoraphobia, unfortunately. As much as I would have loved it to, it didn't. And I feel like anyone with agoraphobia knows that it's something that can't just be solved with medication. You've got to put the work in, and I haven't put the work in. So, you know, can't really expect much. But in terms of like general everyday anxiety, it really helped. And I would recommend it if you do have an anxiety condition. However, if you have OCD, I wouldn't recommend this medication, and let me tell you why. So I've had OCD since I was 9 years old, and it kind of comes and goes. So I can go like a year with very minimal compulsions and obsessions, and then all of a sudden it will spike, and I'll have, you know, intrusive thoughts. I'll even have tics, like obsessions, compulsions, and it's been like that since I was about 9 years old. So at the time they prescribed me the Quetiapine, my OCD wasn't super bad, because I'd been so focused on like my anxiety and my panic attacks, my agoraphobia. So my OCD wasn't really a main focus. And then in about October, so about 7 months, from April to October. October was when I noticed that my OCD symptoms were back, and I don't know if that's because the Quetiapine had kind of quietened down my other issues, so now I was, you know, feeling okay in the daytimes, like I wasn't panicking. So it kind of gave my brain more time to think and obsess, and I don't know if that's what caused my OCD to come back, or if it was due to the Quetiapine that caused it to come back. Because I did read a few case studies that said people had taken Quetiapine for a certain issue, and then that issue had gone away, but they had then developed severe OCD. So I can't say for sure if it's the Quetiapine that caused my OCD to get worse. I personally think it is what caused my OCD to get worse, but I can't be 100% certain. Ever since October, it's now August, it's the last day of August the next year, so it's 2024. So ever since October 2023, my OCD has just been unbearable. It's just so stressful every single day. I spend hours doing compulsions, but I just refused to come off the quetiapine because it worked so well for my panic attacks. And I don't ever want to go back to having daily panic attacks like I once was. So I'm choosing to stay on it, and hopefully the OCD will go away eventually. But yeah, if you do have OCD, I'd be wary because, like I say, you can't be 100% sure that it's going to make it worse, but there is a small chance. So definitely consult with your doctor or your psychiatrist. In terms of dosages, I started off on 25 milligrams twice a day. So I was on 50 milligrams every single day. And I increased it in March of this year, so 2024. I increased it to the 50 milligrams twice a day. So I'm now on 100 milligrams daily. And personally, I didn't notice any changes when I increased them. I had no side effects from increasing the medication. And if I'm being honest, I would like to increase it some more. So I'm going to see if I can get it increased to a higher dose because it really did work very well. And I'm very grateful after spending years searching for the medication that was right for me and just nothing working. I mean, I went through so much with every single medication they gave me. You know, it's not fun for anyone. But I'm thankful I have my quetiapine now. And I would recommend it to anyone who is suffering the way I suffered. I can't really chime in on how well it works for psychosis or anything like that because I've not experienced that and that's not what I take it for. But I have heard good things if you are taking it for that, so I definitely do some more research. But yeah, I hope that this video was able to ease some people's minds. You know, whether people might be unsure about taking it, if they're scared of the side effects, you know, whatever the reason, I hope that this video has helped you a little bit. And honestly, you've got nothing to worry about. It's a great medication. And obviously everyone's body's different, so, you know, I can't 100% say it's going to work for you in the way it's worked for me, but I can hope. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about for today, but I'm going to post some more videos regarding mental health and medications and all different things. So thank you guys for watching, and please give me some comments, ask any questions you want to ask, give this video a like and subscribe to me if you want some more mental health chats. And I hope you all stay safe.